evening, YouTube model railroader fans. Yeah, I'm Ray. Welcome to the Boeville in Newtown, vlog number 10. It happens to be May the 1st, 2016. Got something I need to show you guys, so let me flip the camera here real quick. I know I've talked about this in the past, but that is the remnants of the Penn Central Hummelstown division. That is the N-scale layout that I had worked on years ago. And actually, over here is was covered by that mountain range that I had built. So this dog bone part of the loop here was actually covered by a styrofoam hill. And of course this here side was all open, this here was a small yard. So let me go ahead and stop here for a second. We'll go over to the bench. Okay, so that was real quick. That was the Penn Central Hummelstown division. That was N-scale. I did that years ago. That was my break back into model railroading, as it were, before this monster to the right got built. So, you know what? I need to move the camera here real quick, as I wanted to do a quick follow-up on the whole maintenance thing, because somebody had asked about, you know, hey, I didn't see you clean out the grease. Well, you know, last time we talked, this is exactly what I'm talking about. This here happens to be a lifelike F40PH, I'm sorry, FP45. There we go. And I opened it up the other night, and voila, I found this wonderful old grease sitting down in here, and it is rather gummed up. So what we're going to do real quick, since this one here happens to be a bit of a mess, is I am going to show you. Of course, I don't think that gear comes out of there without me actually taking the locomotive the rest of the way apart. Oh well. Let's see what happens here. Alright. Sorry, I know the camera is swinging here a little bit because it's sitting on the Lazy Susan that I have for putting stuff on. And of course, nothing comes apart easy when you want it to. Alright. And the thing is this still doesn't come apart, does it? I know on the Bachmann locomotives it did. But apparently on the Lifelikes, they do not come apart. Okie dokie. Now, that's a bit weird. Oh yes, it does. Maybe it doesn't. It's like it looks like it does. Okay, well that was somewhat unique. Alright, I'm not going to try and pick that out of there with the... There we go. Yeah, I even pulled it out of there with the grease. So there you go. Take the old paper towel here, and that's just one gear. We got to get the rest of them out and kind of do the same thing with them. And last but not least, we got this one. And of course, the other thing of it is that you want to do here, while we're at it, is actually clean out the housing if you're able to. Sometimes you can get in there and do it. Other times, there really isn't enough room to do it. And I'm going to try and clean. There we go. See? For the most part, in fact, all the grease is now out of there. Remember that old Matches commercial where they say it was in there? And in this case, it's out of there. Alright. Oop. Forget about the worm gear. That was up top. That and the plate that was covering the gearing. It still had a little bit of grease on it as well. So now all the grease is off of that. So now we get to put it back together. And of course it's real helpful to know how the gears ran originally. Thankfully I got a phonographic memory. I'll just say that. Oh, I'm bad. I know it. Alright, there's 2 gears. I believe this one was up top. There we go. Until my finger, until it sticks to my finger and pops back out of the hole. Go. So now those are back in place. Just slide the worm gear back in place. See, all the gearing is back in place where it belongs. And just close it up. That is until one of the gears decides to stick to the plastic again. It's amazing as to how easy this stupid cover came off of here and how much of a pain in the butt it's being to go back on there. Wonderful. Somehow I ended up with a little extra grease in there too yet, and I didn't want the grease in there. Alright, now, first things first, we got to try and get the gearing back up inside of the frame. I know, I just lost a part. That's okay. Before I go snapping that back on, I want to see if I can actually do this. There we go. Yeah, I didn't think Yeah, they did not make this easy, folks. But that's okay. What I'm trying to do here, I know you can't really see, but I'm trying to get this thing aligned. Because this is keyed. Hey, I think I got it. I think I got it. Yeah, I had it. Sheesh. I had some other things I wanted to do tonight besides this, but we may have to wait until the next vlog before I get to them. There we go. That's all back together. Now we can play around with getting the locomotive wheels back in. And of course these need to be cleaned up as well. These here had grease all over them. So again, taking the paper towel and trying to get the bulk of it out of there. I can't believe I'm already up to 11 minutes, but that's okay. This one here is going to be another long one, folks. Sorry. And these just snap back in. Now, one of the things you do have to be aware of is that there's whiskers on here for your electrical pickup. So you have to make sure that, you know, obviously that the electrical pickup goes behind the wheel. You know, I've made that mistake, believe it or not. Some of these locomotives, that the wipers are actually on top of the wheels, but this one here, it happens to be behind. So we have to slide it on over, just like that. This wheel is a dummy. It doesn't have a set of gears on it. There's another problem. There's waste grease in the bottom of the truck. That all needs to be wiped out. Wiped out, dug out, whatever. However you please. And of course this particular, now before we put it back together, dummy, you have to go ahead and re-grease it. Get ahead of yourself here. And just like we talked about before, add a little dab on the gears, and I'm going to hit all three of the ones that I can see. And we'll take our test power pack here. There it goes. Oh, come on. look. Is it geared in the front too? No, it is geared in the front. No wonder I can't get it to stay on. Okay, so this one here I have to do both sides. But we're only going to do the one tonight. I'll have to do the other one later. And of course, trying to get this thing back together. Whoever came up with this wonderful truck design ought to be shot. There we go. Okay. That's enough playing around with that, because I wanted to get into something else here, and I know I'm, goodness knows where I'm at as far as time. So you guys got to see, guys and gals got to see, you know, literally going in there and cleaning out the old grease on a locomotive and so on and so forth. I wanted to get to something else, and you all are going to probably think that this is rather hilarious, but I actually had to do some work down here the other day because I didn't want that. Because I had an issue with my basement where the trains are. There was a lack of insulation, and the board that actually ties to the foundation, there wasn't a lot of, there was a bit of a gap, so I'm going to keep on talking here for a minute. You won't see me, but since I was down here the other night and decided to do some work, I actually came across, when I got done, I actually came across some rather interesting tidbits, and I wanted to share with you all the things that I found. Now I can't find what I was looking for. So be it. Actually, yes, I did. Here it is. Here's some of the stuff I was looking for. Where did that Boeville box get off to? Okay, that's over here. All right. Wonderful. Anyway, first things first. I told you I had some old locomotives over here. This one especially. This here came from Tyco, obviously, and this was the box. Unfortunately, there is no date on this box at all. I do not have an idea as to how old this is. There is a number on the side, although it's somewhat worn. It looks like T259 or 269. And it looks like it was $22.05. whenever it was bought back, whenever it was. It says Tyler Manufacturing Company, Woodbury Heights, New Jersey. So that's amongst the oldest ones on here. The Boeville engine. Where is Mr. Meat Grinder? I'm sorry, Mr. Idler. Here he is. The Boeville engine. This dude. You know, the rubber band drive. This one here, this box actually has a date of 1955 on the side of it. Copyright 1957. Now, that's the copyright date. I don't know if that's the manufacturer date, and unfortunately, there is really not a whole lot inside of this box at all, other than the cardboard to hold the locomotive. And it's funny because Derek Glass was talking about the foam the other day, and well, this is how they used to do it. You want to see something funny? That was it. So That's the Boeville. That was 1957. He's got to go back up here. All right. I know this video is boring and it's long as heck, but that's okay. The 210-2, the big boy that I have, or the biggest locomotive that I have, that I bought from a buddy of mine a couple years ago. Unfortunately, there's no date on the side of at all on this box as well. And there's no type of instructions, paperwork, or anything like that. There's an extra set of wheels. Unfortunately, the light is like really killing this, but that's the box for the 210-2. Wanted to... Oh, yeah. That guy. Old Varney kit. Old red box. And unfortunately, there's no paperwork in this thing either. Nope, nothing. Nope, no paperwork, no instruction manual. Scale of model assembled by Varney, 2456 is the model number, but there's no date, so I have no idea. This here was the box, or is the box for my my SD24, my Southern unit. This one here is fairly new. I'd have to say that this is probably about 10 years old. This was done by IHC. I'm not sure if there's any type of... Oh, there is some paperwork in here. East Allegheny Avenue, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, that's the only thing that's in the box. Well, wait a minute. No, it isn't. There's an instruction manual in here. Oh! Hello. Exploded parts. Well, I hope it didn't explode. And there's something in here that tells you when it was, what it is, and how much horsepower it had, and so on and so forth. But there's absolutely nothing in here that tells me when the thing was manufactured. Premier Series. No idea. Sorry, I know I'm boring as heck here, people, but there was some questions on some of the age of some of my locomotives and stuff, so... And because I had to straighten out or go ahead and move some things around down here, I found the box of boxes, which is true. It's a big box of boxes over here. So I was telling Mr. Glass about this the other day. Old Proto 2000, when Lifelike still had it. And there is some paperwork in here. Gee, I never sent in the warranty card. Unfortunately, it doesn't say anything in here either as to when these were manufactured. It tells you how to take it out of the box. It tells you how to maintain it. But that's about it. But the funny thing of it is I know I got these from, I got this when, I got two of them. One of them's the Western Maryland, the other one's the Chesapeake and Ohio. This one here happens to be the Chesapeake and Ohio one, but I do know I got these back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. In fact, I paid $42.95 for that one. That was from a hobby shop, nonetheless. No, don't fall. Bachmann Spectrum E33. That's the one. That's the big electrical locomotive that I've got. Oh, great! That's in Spanish. So is that. I don't know how to read Spanish. Actually, that was. Well, this here had to be bought after 2003 because it says something about 2003 in the on one of these sheets of paper that's inside this thing. But it doesn't tell you anything else. Okay. Richmond, Fredericksburg, and Potomac. That's what came in here. This is an that was an Atherogenesis unit. Mantua collectible. Ah! I just dropped the top. This is for the steam locomotives. This one here happens to be. This one here happens to be for the President of Washington. I got number 790. Unfortunately, I do not know when these were actually put together either. I've still got the warranty card for this one too. But so obviously there's another box just like this one here for the Crescent Limited that I have. But I'll go ahead and I'll actually go into my spreadsheet and work on that. I know this one's been a long video. I apologize. I'm sorry. But there was a lot to cover. There's still quite a bit to cover. I think vlog 11 we're going to have to go in and we'll take a look at the maintenance sheet that I have, along with some other stuff. But you know what? This was running long enough. You all have a good evening. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. See ya.